What's up, y'all? This is Jessica. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, but I want to give you a very quick disclaimer that my audio is trash. Now, normally, y'all know I would never post anything that sounds like this, but Quita sounded great and the content was even better, so I couldn't let it go to waste. But I didn't want y'all to come for me in the comments, so I'm just letting you know ahead of time. Now, to the video.
Y'all, welcome to my channel, the Jessica Diaries. I'm here with my friend, my girl, my mentor unofficially, Quita B. What's up, Quita?
What's up, Jessica? I'm happy to be sitting here with you today.
I know, look, y'all, we have been planning this for probably since last season. You remember when we recorded, and it was football season then too.
Yeah, it was football season, and we decided we wanted to start reviewing Belle Collective. We recorded it, but it didn't happen. And so that's why I said I'm excited to be here with you today because I feel like we're gonna get it this time.
So if y'all have not read the title, if you cannot tell, we are reviewing Belle Collective, and we're gonna do something different. Since we missed the episode review, we're just going to recap the entire season and talk about the reunion and share something at the end that y'all need to stay tuned for because I think that we have some great things to add, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I really want to talk about Belle Collective because we are Jacksonians. Well, Quita, you ain't a Jackson for real, are you? Kinda.
Am not. There should be an honorary, crown or badge or something though, because even though I'm from Vicksburg, which is just like 30 minutes away, I've worked over in the Jackson area probably the last 20 or so years. Went to Jackson State, graduated from there. So I'm I'm kind of like I'm in the mix.
Jacksonian,
I'm an honorary.
yeah.
Yes.
And so, despite what Carrie said, Jackson is a place where we are very welcoming, and people, outsiders, not to call you an outsider, but like people who are not raised in Jackson, we are very welcoming, and a lot of those people are moving and shaking through the city. So, yes, you are honorary Jacksonian. We are perfect to review this show, y'all, because as we stated, we live in Jackson. We have a special vantage point that I think will add to the show. What do you think, Quita?
I agree. Jessica, a lot of people may not know this that are watching if you're not from the Jackson area or even from any other part of Mississippi. But Jessica has been a real mover and shaker for a very long time. And she's interacted with several of these women. Myself, I've worked with Tamra, and of course, Letitia and I have seen each other many times over the years. Some of the girls were new to me when I started watching the show, like Latrice, um, and at the time, so Gucci, and not Keisha, of course, but Letitia and Tambra also have watched Selena. I don't know her personally or haven't interacted with her personally, but I've seen her on Bring It, which that used to be the show.
Yeah.
That was really, kind of groundbreaking for the city to have a show on a major network. And for the Bells to do that again, let me just say, congratulations to y'all. Shouts out to y'all. But I think because of the way Jessica and I have moved in the city, that we do have some type of, insight
Yeah.
on the ladies and on the show.
And we're gonna bring some fun to this recap. Y'all, we got our blue on. We are on theme. Okay. We'll get to the theme because I do want to talk about that. But we're gonna be honest. We're gonna tell the real. We're gonna also bring you into Jackson because there's so much more that could be shown. But we'll get into that. So Quita, let's kick it off with some big moments from the season. Obviously, we have a new cast member, Miss Carrie from the Gulf Coast. Is she from Biloxi or Gulfport?
Which one? I just keep hearing the coast to coast to
Yeah.
coast. And
I'm
I see
thinking
you
it's
jumping
probably
right on
Biloxi.
into Karen.
Yeah, yeah. So how are we feeling about Carrie?
Carrie, I'm not going to lie. When she first kind of came on the scene, I said, why didn't we just keep Akeisha? You know, especially when she mentioned Jackson being ratchet. Only because Akeisha was given this image. They kind of gave her or branded her as somebody who thought that they were better than the people in Jackson. And we actually saw Akeisha, you know, try to host an event here for the community and do some things here. But we bring in Carrie, who gives the same, to me, gives that exact energy more so than Akeisha of feeling better than Jackson. We get rid of Akeisha, we bring in Carrie, who really doesn't have any like foundation here, but she's very judgmental towards the city. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And overall, like her personality, I like it. I can't lie. I like it, but it's nothing really there. I don't think we really got into her story this
Yeah.
season. So I don't have a connection to her yet. But yeah, outside of that minor thing of her calling Jackson Ratchet, like, I mean, I don't have no problem with Carrie. She was kind of moving the story in ways when other people were not moving the story.
Yeah. And I do like Carrie for the show. I don't think she's a good fit because she's not in Jackson. Personally, for me, I think that the show should remain like Jackson centric. And to me, the coast is just worlds away from Jackson to try to, like naturally make that happen. But I agree with you. Like when she first appeared, I'm like, she came in real hot with Marie and at Marie's party. But I think a lot of it too was Letitia. Since she brought her in and Letitia needed an ally, somebody that was gonna be on her side because the other ladies aren't. So like I get that. I didn't miss Akeisha, but I'll say this. You brought up something really good that I had not considered, that Akeisha was at least trying to contribute to a positive narrative about Jackson. And in hindsight, I do appreciate that about her. Even if she was a little snooty, she at least kind of lived up or backed up what she was saying. Whereas Carrie, you're constantly taking jabs because even in one of her scenes when she was talking about, no, it wasn't well, yeah, it was a scene when they were at the reservoir and they were eating the crawfish and she was like, Gulfport or the coast is more beautiful, and I'm like, this woman just keep like it rubs people the wrong way. And I'm connected to people that know Carrie and that love her. So I'm treading lightly on a friend. But at the end of the day, overall, she melded well. She had some funny moments. She brought the energy. And I think if she would have a little bit more respect for the city, because Jackson is the one that made the opportunity possible. This city itself, where the show is on the coast, like Timber said, so that we'll talk more about that moment. But I just felt like if I'm on TV, that's not how I want to be seen. It's talking down on a city that already has a lot of negative press and negative media. I would want to contribute positively. So speaking of
Wait,
Akeisha,
wait, wait. And I have one more word. And again, I like Carrie. I'm not mad at her at all. I do agree with you. There were probably a whole lot of other women in the Jackson area that are making moves that if they wanted to be on it, I think that one or two of them should have had the opportunity. But I'm sure Letitia had her reasons. But Carrie is country. Jackson may be ratchet, but Carrie is country. First of all, I have never, and I love crawfish, okay? I've never eaten crawfish with freaking mayonnaise. And that must be something that they do on the coast because I've never seen it
baby,
here.
it gotta
And
be.
then did not see, but you can kind of confirm for me, did she actually spread the mayonnaise with a glove on her hand on
Did,
the bread?
did, did. That's ratchet. And I actually said that in one of the comments because I'm like telling people it's not okay to say that. It's not. I don't care how you feel. Because I told Tony, I was like, man, she called Jackson ratchet, and he said Jackson is ratchet. But like Tamara, Well, that's for us to say, number one. And number two, let's not do that on national TV. Okay, let's not do that. Um, but
Exactly.
going
Exactly.
back to the crawfish thing, I'm Creole. I ain't never in my life seen that. Ever, 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 ever. My grandmama will make gumbo and crawfish for you on the spot. And I have never seen that woman put mayonnaise anywhere near any of it. So maybe she is country. We ratchet you country, baby.
Girl, the country crawfish boil, and I don't know, every crawfish boil has had, I don't know, but then that place, the trip that she took them
Oh
on,
yeah,
where they went and slept, and
yeah.
we're
No
gonna get
glam.
into that because
Yeah, we'll talk
I want
about
better,
that.
I want better trips for y'all. I want better trips for y'all.
So, do you miss Akeisha and So Gucci? Were you missing their presence since we're talking about Carrie and her coming on as a cast member? Did you miss them, or did she fill that spot well?
With Akeisha, like I said, I don't know why I have a soft spot for Akeisha, but I feel like Akeisha would have fit in with the group, even with Carrie there. So I wouldn't have been mad at that lineup at all. With So Gucci, I wasn't super invested in that storyline. Even when Selena came in, I don't know. Saguchi was not the one for me, and not because I didn't like her, I don't know her, but on camera, I just didn't connect. What about you?
Actually, feel like So Gucci should have, and we recognize they left the show because they had issues with how things were going, not just I don't want to be on the show anymore. It was other things, but I think so. Gucci would have probably been more entertaining with Selena on the show. Like if they were able to maybe make amends and show us a solution to their family problems, I think it would have worked. But did I miss her? No. Um, not necessarily Akeisha either. But I do think that both of those ladies gave a little bit more than what Carrie did. I'll say that. And it could also be
Yeah.
because she lives 3 hours away. So to produce her scenes, you gotta have a whole different call sheet, location, maybe even a day just to account for the travel. So that could have been probably why, but I didn't necessarily miss them. Now let's get into another big moment of this season, Marie and this love triangle, honey. That's kind of how we kick things off with the season. What you got to say about that?
First of all, whoever's giving Marie love, I love it because she was so, like, the energy was so light with her. Even when she would come in with her jabs, it felt right. Like it just
Uh-huh.
felt like, you know what I mean? Like a voice of reason. It didn't give like I'm coming from a negative place. It actually gave like, this is somebody who is just trying to knock some sense into to the situation.
Yeah.
But Marie's love triangle.
Do you believe it? Cause I didn't believe Martin. I'm sorry, Marie. I didn't believe Martin.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Because it's hard for me to say whether I believed in Martin because I don't know people's taste. But it was funny.
Very.
I'm glad it was over quickly and Martin went on his way.
Over quickly.
Yeah, yeah, because maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe because I didn't really buy into this whole Martin situation, or I didn't think Martin was right for her. Like if I was going to matchmake Marie with somebody, it was not going to be Martin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I was just like, yeah, get him on out of here. But I wouldn't matchmake her with her ex-husband either. Especially when he's asking her to be submissive. And I know we'll get into the reunion, but y'all came back together because of a tragedy, unfortunately. But is that something really to build on, or was it just comfort for the right moment? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Um and she ultimately decided to be with Cedric, which we probably knew at the end of the day. If it was gonna come down to the two, it was gonna be Cedric. I guess we'll have to see how that plays out in future seasons. But we all kind of knew it was gonna be Cedric in the end. I didn't like Marie's season 1, but I'm not gonna lie,
It's
like
just like,
it was a joy to see her on the screen. She really did bring everything we needed to those things. She really filled them out. Now, let's talk about Selena. Selena was this is her first full season, right?
Yeah, yeah, as a cast member, I believe, because last season was kind of what friend
Friend
of.
of yeah. So how are we feeling about Selena's debut? I actually I'm not gonna say enjoyed. I feel like enjoyed is just not the right word, but it was nice to see her navigate her grief journey. It's someone who has lost people within the last year. You don't really always know how to process it. You know, it's all these thoughts, it's all these feelings, it's all of these what ifs and these regrets. And it's not something that you see on TV often, somebody actually navigating that. A lot of viewers felt like Selena should be doing this in private. She shouldn't be on the show. Whereas some people actually enjoyed that aspect. I think it was good because that's not something that we always.
I'd have to agree with the people that said to show it because that's her real life. You know, if especially if we can get a cast member that's being that vulnerable, that makes, I hate to say it, it makes the show better. But and then the reason it makes it better is because it resonates with people who've been through that and who probably don't see that from somebody on their TV screen, somebody that they look up to and that they watch. And so for her to show her sadness, but then also how she's dealing with it, you don't know how that can help somebody else. And I hate it that we had to see it, that she's still going through it. But I think that it could possibly be helpful to somebody else. I would have also liked to have seen more of Selena. There were episodes where she was missing out of the scenes. And I don't think that they involved her with the ladies enough to just kind of establish more of the relationship. You saw her mostly with her man. You saw her, with the group at times, but not enough with like the one-on-one interaction so that we could get more of that Selena personality that won people over would bring it.
I want to say this about Selena. She brings this softness. She just seems like if you touch her, your finger gonna go all the way in her skin. Like she just gives. She's very feminine. She seems to be a sweet person, and I would have loved to see more with her and Mike. Like even more of them planning their wedding. Or, I know that Selena loves her grandchildren. Maybe more of that. I ran into Selena at the park with her grandbaby, just swinging and have a good time in her own world. So I would have loved to see more of that. I just feel like every time she was on the screen, it was her not at her best, or her not feeling well, or Mike not coming home, or not telling her things he should tell her. And I just would have loved to see more of who is Selena as an individual. We've always seen her on
Right,
these shows. We've always heard about her. Like, even I can remember as a teenager knowing about Selena, and she just being that girl. And so I would have liked to kind of delve more into her story and what brought her here. Like what brought you this popularity? What's your
right.
journey? What's your real story? So I just think that they need to do her more justice because she is a very, very familiar face, and I think she could bring in viewers from Brinket because folks love this show, and even I know her
Yeah.
daughters are grown, but I just think that there was more there that we could have seen.
Yeah. Yeah. It was either grief or trying to straighten out something with Latrice. We didn't get anything, and then or either going through it with her fiance who was hilarious because he was just so just not reacting to much.
So let's talk about Latrice. So this season, Latrice talked a lot about Cliff being at the condo. That was Latrice's, I guess, her storyline. We saw her building up Taste, but we didn't get to see a lot of Taste this season. It was it was it was almost like Latrice was a supporting role for Letitia's storyline this time around.
Yeah. And I hated that because about the taste part specifically, because you and I, and you've probably gone to more events at Taste, but we went to an event over, what is it, the summer? It was crazy in there. Like it was packed. People were having a good time. You saw folks in there, like, I don't know what kind of like little cars those are, but you just saw people riding through. Like it was huge. It was lit, as the kids say. And for them to not capture any of what goes on at Taste. And I know it's like a little bit of drama. Come on, like with Candy and the gang, you can't tell me Latrice could have had some more story, because there has to be a little bit of like
And
drama. But
I thought we were gonna
the
get it.
waitresses, the bartenders.
I thought we were gonna get it when Amanda came on. I always felt like Latrice was that girl on the show. Like she the star. She's the Portia of Belle Collective. That's how I have looked at Latrice.
Yeah.
Like she's gonna bring the fashion, she's gonna bring the makeup, she's gonna bring the hair. She's living the luxurious life with the G wagon, with the businesses, with the beautiful home. So she's always been kind of
Yep.
like in charge of the girls, in my opinion, on the show. People don't see it for Cliff, but I like Cliff and Latrice's banter. Like, I feel like they are made for each other, and I know folks don't necessarily feel the same, but Latrice knows how to handle Cliff. And in the reunion, when Carlos asked about submission, Cliff even said, "I like a little, I like a little challenge." And when I heard that, I was like, "See, I knew I was right. He liked it. He likes that she liked it. She talk crazy. She keep him in line, even if he is in a condo. That's another thing. Who knows what's going on with that? But I think Latrice can handle Cliff, but he seemed to be more distant this season. Normally, we get a lot more Cliff in the scene. He seems to be like maybe this is not something that he wants to continue doing. And who knows? That could be why he was at the condo.
I enjoyed Cliff, even the little, like the little parts. I enjoyed Cliff this season. Just the little pieces, that little jabs he'll throw in here, the little things he'll say. Like, it's funny to me for some reason.
I want to say this. I think what people got to understand, and it could just be a Mississippi thing. Cliff reminds me of older guys in Mississippi. The way that he talks, I don't think he always means any harm. I think that that's just how he is. That's just part of his ways, and it might get misinterpreted. And I don't know if I'm like indicting men in Mississippi, but I've been around men like Cliff, and they truly don't mean any harm. They just be talking like shit. So I think that he is a little bit misunderstood, and people try to say he beat her. And, like I think all of this stuff is crazy. So I just wanted to add that about him.
Say this, the first few seasons, it did look weird with Cliff. Okay. I could see why people would be worried for Latrice, because it
Really?
just seemed like, I do.
Okay.
It seemed like he was very much in control, and she was, and nothing wrong with being submissive, but it just seemed to a point where she wasn't good with it. Like some women want to be submissive, and that's okay. But if you're like kind of, I don't know, but I do agree with everybody else in the earlier seasons that it did not look right. Now, was it right? I don't know. I'm not saying it wasn't, because that could have just, like you said, been his personality and we didn't get it. And then Latrice was playing it cool because she didn't want to just like reveal herself at first, but now she's revealed, like, hey, you think that he really talks to me like that and gets away with it? Like, we've seen more of Latrice in the last couple of seasons push back and challenge him, as he said, and he had no issue with it. Like, they didn't run into any big problems. So it could have been a misunderstanding from us as viewers, thinking that something was happening with Latrice and being worried. But seeing him in these last couple of seasons, he's been chill and he has pulled back. And maybe he even thought, like, the way I'm looking on TV, because he probably saw it and say, this doesn't look right to me, and it's probably not looking right to the people I do business with, the community. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. But I like Cliff.
So let's move on to Tambra. The people want more from Tambra. Tambra had very, very limited scenes. We got a scene with her and Damon talking about money, and then we see them with the financial planner. Shout out to Swole. What's up, Swole? Happy to see you get your cameo there. What do you think about Tambra's her how she showed up this season?
So I have two thoughts. One is, yes, we want to see more of Tambra. Tambra says she's been booked and busy. We want to see that.
Yes.
That to me, especially with you saying that she does Dish Nation and just, seeing, pictures of her that come across the feed that, when she's out and about and she's with different celebrities, we want to see that. Like Tambra, you can bring us the glamour to this show that we don't get. You can bring the celebrity to this show. And I'm not saying as in actual celebrities, but
she's the celebrity.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, she can bring that energy to the show and show how she is moving and shaking. And yeah, she has a young baby and they're managing that. And that's something else that would be cool to see. But if not, just go lean into what your passion is with your profession.
Yeah.
That's what I say with Tamra. Now, as far as why she did not do that, or do we want to see, why we might not see more of Tambra? I believe it's what Letitia said in the reunion. How Letitia felt like she was not in a safe space with the group. I would have felt like that, like Tambra as well, and I would have pulled back when you brought my alleged abuser or some man that's trying to, destroy my character. When you bring him into the picture, these women that I interact with, and you try to bring in a man that I've had a court order against, or we've had to go to court about the way this man is treating me and harassing me. It's very limited on my side from that. And I think that's a natural response. I don't think it has anything to do with, how I need to show up on TV. It's just like, can I even trust these ladies?
Right. And
what do you think?
I couldn't even imagine having to film with them and be around them if someone did something like that to me. It would be very difficult for me to do that. I feel about her the same way I feel about you. Y'all have been so instrumental in my career, in my endeavors, and the things that I want to do. Just seeing y'all, wanting to work with y'all, trying to intern and follow with y'all. So I would love to see that because the people.
Hey, don't let her play y'all like she ain't been that girl.
No,
don't let her do that.
For real, like I would love. Because this is the thing. When it comes, like I'm always defending Tamara in the comments because people, they are not seeing what we know and what we see. They're like, why is she here? She doesn't need to come back. And I'm saying, she is the Belle. Like, she's the Belle. Like, the production needs to, and I don't know why. It could be, like you said, the lack of a safe space. But there are a lot of things that she could show that I think would raise her profile even further. Just like you said, from being in Dish Nation, traveling to these events, you're hosting these black tie events, her wine tasting, even just being at the radio station and what all comes with that, having to attend the community event. Tambra would be our door to Jackson. And it's so baffling to me why we don't get that. Like, what other show had a real personality that's out and about, that knows everybody? Everybody knows her. Like, it is just a huge missed opportunity. There has to be a reason why. Now, let's go on to the main story every season, and you know where we going with this. That damn Glendale. I'm going to call him Glendale because that's what Latrice called him. Girl, I love when she called that man Glendale.
Wait, okay, I thought you said Glen Hale. She called him Glendale.
Girl, what we gonna do about Glendale?
that we have reached. Well, one, I'm so tired of Letitia reacting to these cheating rumors. Okay. I would tell production, I would tell the ladies, anytime this comes to me, like, oh, Glendale is cheating. And what else you got? You got something else new? Like what? I hate that she gets in her feelings each and every time this man is accused of cheating. If he has been cheating this long and y'all have continued to try to make it work or make it work, then let it stop letting it be an issue for you. Stop reacting to it. If anything, I would just get on him about doing stuff or moving in a way that's going to embarrass me. Now, am I for all that cheating mess, especially at this age? No, that's not my ministry, okay, to deal with that. But if they've been together a long time, Letitia knows her mate. Quit reacting to the mess. Like at this point, I think we reached like therapy, right? The next season should be therapy for you and Glenn. And
I
you need
actually
he
would go ahead.
No, I was just going to say he needs to figure out if he's not cheating anymore, why he cheated so much in the past, because there could be something there and it could be an interesting story. And then Letitia would need to do therapy to figure out why she's decided that she would have taken it all those years, why she wanted to even possibly, help raise one of his children, a possible child outside of their marriage. Like, let's dig into that because the cheating story is getting boring.
It's
Keep
so
talking
funny.
like you just said. We see women going through it on every freaking reality show, especially one produced by Carlos King. Okay, we don't have to keep doing this. Like,
Yeah.
let's get into the meat and bones. And even if the cheating happens again, at least we've gotten a great story as to like what happened in Glendale's childhood. Like who broke his heart first? Like let's get into that. Let's make that a story. And
Yeah.
Letitia, why did you decide to keep making it work?
Yeah, I agree with. I actually think Letitia needs to keep him out. Period. Like he does nothing for her image, her brand, and I just, I don't know her like that. I would never want it to be my introduction to the world. I look at this like this is a platform that you only have while you have it. You could be here one season and you're gone the next. And this is your chance to make your mark on the world to finesse it into other opportunities and you look crazy. And it's by your own man. And I wish the fuck I would be on national TV looking through each phone trying to see what my husband does say. I wish I would. Like what we gonna do is you bring your ass right here, you bring your ass, and we finna get to the bottom of this. Okay, this is not something that's finna drag on. You not about to do this to me. You're not about to do this to our children. Like I just would have that going on. I would love to see Letitia heal. Meaning not saying that she hasn't healed, but let's see that what does that look like? Get that brunch stuff going. Let me see you visiting the venue. Let me see you talking to the caterer. Let me see you planning some type of community engagement around it. Don't let this man have you looking like this to the world and you cannot overcome it. Like next season needs to be something new for her, especially being that she pitched this show. This is her baby. Girl, act like it. You can do better than this as a storyline. So with Latrice kind of being in the middle of that, what do you think about that? If Latrice had to pick between Tisha and Mandy, she's picking Mandy. And I'm not necessarily mad at Latrice for not telling Letitia. Because who would want to do this? Like, just being honest. But it's the laughing, it's Latrice gives that she knows a lot more. I personally think that they may have slipped together, Mandy and Glenn. That's what I think. And I think Mandy is playing it cool. for Glenn. I think Latrice is trying to say it without saying it.
Yeah, with Latrice being involved, I think that Latrice made the right move. Like you said, I'm sure she's closer to Amanda or Mandy. She was actually trying to bring her on the show from what we learned at the reunion. So she's much closer to Mandy. And then knowing how Letitia and Glenn's relationship is, what would it have done for Latrice to bring that news to Letitia? Nothing. It would have upset Letitia and Glenn. It would have upset Cliff because he has a relationship with Glenn. So if I was Latrice, I would have stayed out of it too. Now, did she like kind of just take a little bit of joy in learning this information? Yes. But let me ask you, Jessica, if you had been there and your close friend on camera told you that she was messing with another friend of yours, man, and then even kind of like going at the woman's looks, like what would you say? How would you react in that moment?
Oh, I would say, why did you tell me this? I literally did not need to know this. Like, I really wish you would have never told me this. But Latrice couldn't say it because she already knew. That's the real guy. Like, girl, you already knew. But I would have said, why you tell me? Like, now what am I supposed to do? Now I feel like I'm in the middle. Am I a bad friend if I don't say something? It's gonna make me feel like I gotta pick. If she said something about her looks, I would have definitely defended that. Period. Full stop. We not gonna do that. I don't think negatively about my friend. So I think that there's something that kind of also revealed how Latrice truly feels about Letitia. Like, you wouldn't even laugh at it. You'll be like, girl, come on, don't do it. So I just feel like, look, Mandy put Latrice in the situation by bringing that up. Amber was
Yeah.
Tamra was kind of fishing a little bit, but she kept her distance from it. And Letitia has never even brought up that Tamra was there. And it's probably because of their history with what she did. You know, she's gonna just tread
Yeah.
lightly. But I would have just asked my friend, like, girl, why did you tell me that? And I ain't gonna lie, I might have would have said, hey girl, don't be mad at me. But in order for me to come out of this clean, I gotta say it was brought up. I will bring you two together and I will mediate.
Mm,
But, you know, I can't not say nothing, especially if she's my friend too. Like, I'm just not gonna pick sides. Y'all gonna have to figure this out. Or squash it or never bring it up again. But we gotta do something about this because you done told me now. You should have never told me.
I don't know, I just feel like the middleman gets squashed, right? I just feel like the middleman in the situation, like Latrice, would get squashed either way. I think the only mistake that Latrice made was taking joy in it in that moment when she was dogging and dragging Letitia. But outside of that, y'all got to be close to me. You got to be somebody I really value in my life for me to come to you with that. Because the man will want to fight you. Like, you don't know what can happen. Like, you
And
could really pop off.
yeah, it's such a tricky situation because I'm trying to think because I've been in situations where I learned information, I said something, and it became a thing. So I get why
Mhm.
Latrice would want to stay out of it, but once you're told that information, you're in it, whether you want to be or not.
Let's stop because I don't care about Glendale cheating anymore. Like I
Yeah,
don't. I can't, I
yeah,
don't have I don't have the hate to be mad at Glendale, and I don't have the compassion at this point
yeah.
to
Let's just
give
move
it
on.
to Letitia because she's okay with whatever's happening in her life. And until she decides, hey, this is something that I don't want to, like, I don't know. What Letitia could have done though and made it a great show. And it probably would have stretched some episodes. Instead of rolling over playing the victim, she should have fired back at Latrice with her own problems. Like, if y'all gonna go investigate whatever Tamber got going on with some ex or whatever, then guess what? What you said on the reunion that the police were called on Cliff and Latrice. There's no way you're coming at me in my marriage and talk to my
And I don't
husband,
bring it
and
up.
I'm not going to spit that out at you.
Right. You right. You right. So since everybody's collectively tired of Glendale, let's just keep it moving. Now let's talk about some favorite moments of the season. I'm gonna go first. One of my favorites, and it just sounds so bad to say that this was a favorite, but it was Selena's grief event. It was a nice event. Everybody wore their white. I think when did it do? It was at Dueling Hall,
Yeah.
nice venue, nice event where people could really talk about that, talk about what it's like. We got to see Latrice be vulnerable. She has that strong wall, and that's relatable. So I'm thankful to have seen that, because I don't know how she is for real. Like, which one of these Latrices is the real Latrice? Like I want to see more of, like, who are you really? Like, we've heard about the business, we've seen you're married. Who are you? What do you like to do when you're not working? How do you unwind? How do you recharge? How do you pick out your pretty clothes? Where do you shop? Like, take us shopping with you. Like, I want to see more. So there was. Go
And
ahead.
she goes on gone on some couple trips with women from the other own TV shows. Like, girl, you were
Yeah,
doing things.
yeah. Let's see a crossover. But yeah, so that was one of my favorites. And another, I'm gonna just say I enjoyed Marie's things overall. Not just one in particular, but those were my favorite moments. What were your favorites?
Energy overall. Whatever scene she was in, normally I would go past it in the other seasons. But no, I love Marie's energy. Glad that she's a Belle for sure. The first scene with Letitia and Glenn, where she was like stepping out of her masculine energy
Yeah,
into her
yeah,
feminine energy. What was funny about it was not just the calamity that followed after she was doing all this changing for her marriage, but was that they were like doing, she's like, "Oh, I'm the masseuse Letitia. Hello, Glendale, blah, blah, blah." Give it all sexy. Then all of a sudden you see her sitting down and then talking about the bells. And I'm just like, what are we doing?
yeah,
You're not gonna get intimate or nothing like that on camera, but it's just like, how do you go from making this an intimate moment with your partner, a romantic moment, to gossiping? Like, gossip usually happens between couples, but not in a moment like that. So
yeah,
that was kind of funny to me. Carrie, I think some of the romantic scenes were funny. Carrie setting up that picnic outside.
yeah.
Here come cut your carrot with
For it,
the
the
charcuterie
Biloxi, the
board.
coast is so much more beautiful. Would take us to a beautiful place on the coast. You could have did a beach side with a pretty big
Yeah,
blanket, girl.
those were the two that stood out. Of course, I love the scene with the grief event, and then I did not watch the scene where they went back to her son's house because it just I don't think I would have been able to deal with it. But I did hear a lot of great things about it as far as like again, it resonated with people, how the Bells came together and Latrice and Cliff were talking about putting up money to help search for solve her son's murder. So
Yeah,
even though I didn't watch it, I appreciate it.
yeah, I don't feel like the cast should have been there. Maybe the camera, but it was just kind of odd to have the cast there, in my opinion. So, who to you had the best storyline?
Unfortunately, everybody's storyline got overshadowed by Glendale. Okay.
Glendale.
Um yeah, Glenn Hale.
Who
Okay.
even
So
had a storyline? Like, what were the storylines?
that's what I'm saying. There wasn't you had Tamara with the finances, you had Marie and her love triangle that fizzled out very early. You had Letitia and Latrice were intertwined the whole time. We didn't even dig into why Cliff was staying at those condos like that.
At
And
all? I thought we would though. When
the
Latrice went up there to stay, I thought we would get into that more. Hell, I would have liked to see them renovating the condos. I didn't even know
yes,
there were condos above Tate.
no, not at all. So we didn't get into any of that. And I just felt like that one storyline because we spent 2 nights at that sleepover, which was too much for me.
And
Oh,
nothing came out of it.
no, I was gonna say that just kind of brings me to one more scene that I did like. I liked when Marie ordered that pizza.
Me
Everybody
too.
was judging her, but there is no way Carrie is about to run some mayonnaise and fingertips across my bread again. Okay, shouts out to Marie.
And I'm gonna say this: for Carrie to be a restaurateur, you so are you just that in name and ownership? Are you not a chef? I was a little confused because a woman who owns a restaurant, every time you come on camera regarding the food, has been a problem. That's not good marketing. But Marie, when she told her, Terry, give me the napkins, child, Marie, thank God for Marie this season. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
Because even did y'all play games at the sleepover? You did the lemon squeeze, but then that got overshadowed by you calling Jackson ratchet, then doubling down on it, and it just I I wanted more for Carrie because even though I had my feelings about her, I can see why she was mad. I really
yeah,
can. But it
yeah.
just was kind of like a letdown. And
It- Yep.
whose whose storyline needed some work? Carrie's needed work. I want to see because on her social media is more interesting than what she brought. I would have liked to see you doing the influencing, you running that restaurant. Even your husband being the agent. What is that like being with a man who does that? Like
Right.
how do you support that? Marie's storyline, it was okay. It was okay for what it was. We've already talked about Tambra. We kind of talked about some of those things. I'll say this: a missed opportunity, 100% was Selena's wedding or soon to be wedding. Huge
Yeah.
missed opportunity. She could have parlayed that into a wedding special.
There's another side of Selena that we need to see planning this. Like, come on.
Yeah, even with your daughters, they seem to like him. Let's go dress shopping. Let's go venue shopping. That
Well,
was a
she's
huge
pretty.
missed
They would have loved
opportunity.
to see her go dress shopping.
And body is tea. So let's see what you coming with, girl. Let's see it. So whose storyline do you think needed work?
All the people you said. Marie was cool. She was the comic relief. And then guess what? Everybody can't have a storyline that's going to be big. So she played her part this year. But Selena, for sure, had some missed opportunities. I still think, like I said earlier, Tambra, if you don't want to dig into your personal, dig in, show us your professional, light that up. That's what this show needs. It needs a little bit more of a Hollywood touch to it. So I would say that Letitia and Glendale, that storyline with the cheating is old. Let's either move forward next season with how you're going to heal on top of taking these brunches to another level. Like, I don't know what it is about me, but I am so over the whole cliche, like this sisterhood and we as women. It's got to be something else. I just think everybody needs to like bring the real wherever that passion is. That's going to be the real. The real does not have to be us seeing you, any of
Get
y'all,
cheated on.
get cheated on or in misery every season. There can be one, but we can't surround ourselves or consume ourselves with that one storyline. And two, it just don't have to be all of y'all. There has to be
Right.
so much more going on.
And I think even collaboration, like let's come to the table as a group and say, how do we want this season to go? Girl, what you got going on? What you got? Okay, this overlap, like have some strategy behind it. Do like the girls on Married to Medicine. That's what they do. Whether they say it or not, that's what they do. And that's why we're seated every time the show premieres. So let's move on so we can close this thing out. Let's talk about the reunion. First of all, we're in our blue to match the thing. It seemed even the nails, you got the nails. It seemed like blue, royal blue was the thing, but I was thrown off to see Carrie and Latrice not be in blue. I think had they stayed on color, even with their same dresses, it would have been beautiful. The different color dresses threw the entire look off, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they all should have. The blue was beautiful, and I think it would have looked just as beautiful on Carrie and Latrice. I'm not sure why they decided to wear something different. It would have been look, it would have been amazing if it was just one of them that did that, right? Because we would have been like, oh, what's going on there? Like, did they not include you? Is there some beef? Do you think you're the Beyonce of this thing? Like, but just to see kind of both of them do their own thing, I don't know.
And that's always been a thing that irritated me about the Belle Collective reunions because they're never on one accord with the reunion look. And that is what makes the Bravo shows look so good because the women follow the theme. So I think
Yeah.
that the theme should have been mandatory. I liked everybody's look. I thought Tambra looked really great. It's something about her hair and makeup that made her look really youthful. She just looked youthful, well rested. She looked good. Latrice always looked good. Selena was pretty. Let's give our Queen of the Season award. It's time to award our season MVP. And I think you're going to agree with mine. My MVP for this season is none other than Miss Marie Monroe. She
Mm,
was, to me, the glue of the season. She brought the fun. She brought the wit. She made me laugh. She said the things that people were thinking, but she also showed support. I love Marie. I'm with Latrice. The Marie with a man in her life. I am here for that. She has completely won me over from the first season. Marie is my queen of the season.
yeah, I hate, I'm gonna tell you something. I really wanted it to be Latrice because we talked about Latrice being, on her, I don't want to curse, like her bad girl stuff, right? She's got the businesses, she's got the look, and she seems to be owning her situation with Cliff. On top of that, I feel like Latrice has this villain type deal about her. Like if she would really lean into it without coming off miserable, I think that Latrice could be really that girl. But as far as the MVP, I'll give it to Marie. Marie kept it light. She made me laugh with her
Yay,
between the door
Marie.
scene. Yeah, love Marie.
Congratulations. So who was the most improved Belle? Do we have one?
The most improved? I don't know. Cause like I said, Latrice usually stands out for me, but she kind of fell to the wayside because she was on the Letitia storyline the entire time. Um, I really can't give it to anybody. I
Yeah, I
would
was
give
gonna say
it,
the same.
yeah, nobody, because nobody had a chance to really stand out. So,
And do you think it was because the season was so short? It seemed really rushed, and the reunion seemed rushed too.
Carlos stepped in that reunion like he stepped in for a hot minute and then it was time to go. I don't, the season did seem really rushed. You had what, 7 episodes? And
Six
I
or
wonder why
seven,
that
yeah.
is. And I think and I don't blame the ladies. I would blame the producers for not putting the stories together, not really spending enough time with the ladies to develop something because there is a lot there. So, yeah, we didn't really get a chance to see much of anything from anybody. And honestly, I can't even crown an MVP because yeah, Marie was funny and she was light, but
But it still wasn't a whole lot there.
yeah, none of this was enough this season. It just wasn't enough.
Well, since we're talking about how it wasn't enough, let's talk about what we would do different if we were running the show. Because I have said this and I wanted to make a video about this. But also, Jackson is a small city and I don't want to make enemies, like I don't want people looking at me sideways because of my opinion.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I'm a little disappointed in Belle Collective as someone from here, as someone who like we said in the beginning, we moved around. I'm not in their circle. Like there are like cliques in Jackson, I'm more of a grassroots creative, like I'm with them people versus like your boss girls, like that's a whole different like space, right? So I'm not in that space, so to speak.
I
What you
think
got?
that those women are a little different, right? They kind of have that entrepreneurial uh type. Like I'm more in a corporate space. So I'm not out there kind of pulling things up like you said, they kind of pulling themselves up, building their own businesses, kind of building their own brands. You have done that, Jessica. You've done that for yourself many a times. But because, like you said, we don't kind of do that because there's a whole type of politicking and networking that you would need to be doing in
Right.
order to build your own business. And yeah, those are different circles than you kind of like navigating a corporate environment as a manager or executive, and then yourself, like you said, you're more community rooted, grassroots rooted. So there, I think that that's what it is. It's just like those are just we've just taken all we all have different paths in life, and because of that, that's where we're either having to network, we're having to build, and we're having to befriend people in a
Yeah.
way.
So, and I'm saying that because when we talk about like what we would do different, I felt like there should be Jackson should be the center of the story, like it was in the beginning when they were talking about Ferris Street and revitalizing it and all of that. We know that it's a huge undertaking. Like that's not something that's going to get done in one season or two seasons. There are a lot of politics when it comes to that. But I would have liked to see more of what actually happens in Jackson and putting those ladies in that. Um, Here's the thing: when it comes to reality shows, people always say, "I watch for the glam." You know, I watch for the glam. I watch to be inspired, and it just was not a lot of things to be inspired by. You know, like what if the man is not good in your life, what else can you show that may be inspirational? And people will say, "Oh, that's not interesting." You know, like I think there can be drama there. You know, you have drama when you're building a business. You have drama when you are raising your kids and all those things. I just would have liked to see more real life. Like everything we saw was so surface level. Or you gave us just a little bit to maybe be curious, but you didn't pull us in. So I would definitely rework the stories. I would have production meetings with each woman saying, "Hey, what do you have going on in your life that you are willing to share? What about this thing would be drama to hook people in? But also, what about it? Can we move to a solution?" I just don't think that because it's reality TV that it has to be negative, and that's how people get tired of the shows because the sentiment online has been this show can go. It's low budget. It's the storylines play. Like there are some people that love it. It's better to me than Love and Marriage Huntsville at this point. But Love and Marriage Huntsville in its heyday, those people were letting us in. And it just seems like the Bells outside of Letitia are not letting us in enough to really care.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of that. One, that they are not letting us in, and for what reason? And maybe it's not them. Maybe it is production. Maybe production is given low budget where they're only covering one major story. They're only covering one Bell's journey and then giving us little smaller pieces of the rest, because we hear all the time how people film a whole lot and then it doesn't, whatever makes it to the show makes it to the show. So I think that either they're not giving it to us or production is not giving it to us, because why aren't you following around Tamra where she's getting action? Why aren't you over there at Taste? Why aren't you capturing these women in these livelier spots in Jackson instead of every time throwing them into a house or throwing them across from each other at a table at a restaurant?
Or
Like
on the
it's getting
reservoir. We've
tight.
seen the reservoir so much. That has been blowing me like y'all ain't got nowhere else y'all can go. It's a lot of pretty places. Also, I think there needs to be more PR done for this show. Like, where are your collaborations? Where are your advertisers and your sponsors? Like, you can get a sponsored trip. You can get some brands to come in and sponsor Selena's wedding. Like, there are so many ways to get more visibility and work across industry with the show. And it just seems like a missed opportunity. Even here, where are the billboards that's saying the season is on? Where are the watch party? Where are these things that could make it more hype and get more people creating content about it? And that's why I wanted us to do this, because as creatives, I mean, I know you consider yourself on the corporate side, but I do think you are in the creative community as well. The goal is always to make it engaging, and I just feel like there are so many missed opportunities to do that, from a PR end, but also just integrating locally what's going on and using what we have to push the message of the show, and working with influencers. Hey, we'll pay you for the season to review it. Like, that's what it's gonna take to get the budget up.
And I was gonna say that as well. I've seen my favorite content creators who usually review the show either speak not so highly of this season, or either they are not reviewing the rest of the season, or it's taking them much longer. Like when Real Housewives of Potomac, one of my favorite creators, when it comes on, it's up the next morning, right? Because it's such an interesting show to him. But now I've seen it where it's not even on his channel. He hasn't even reviewed Belle Collective yet. So I've gone to another creator who took a few days to review it. And Scotty by Nature, who of course, has been very, very committed to reviewing Belle Collective. He didn't even seem super happy about this
Yeah.
season. So I think we're losing people. Number one, because like you said, the public relations, the marketing, it's not there. And as two people who work in that, there's so much more that they could be doing. One, to get the hometown much more involved, the
And we
state,
want the show to win. We want it to last. I want it to last. I want it
right?
to be what it could be. So I think the criticism is in love. It's because we love Jackson. We love these women. I want to see them win. I don't like to look online and see folks trashing them, or trashing the men in our city, or trashing the city itself. And that's why I was so bothered by Carrie saying that Jackson is ratchet. And it's like,
Yeah.
you got to treat this with care.
And these women deserve it because unlike a lot of these reality shows that we get with this ensemble cast of women, these women actually are doing what they say that they are doing. They
Right,
already established their businesses. They're not coming on the show and then trying to push out a clothing line or push
right.
out a hot single. You know what I'm saying? Like they're actually already up and established and they have their careers going. So I think production can do better. And I am trying to understand what Letitia meant by All's Fair and Belle Collective. Like, are you going to come back harder at Latrice with something? And it's just like, let's not, like, I don't, it could be interesting, but if we're going to do that, we're going to do like this all out war between Latrice and Letitia. We got to have some other stuff going on, just like you said. We have got to see more of the active lives of these women. Figure out where you want the audience to go and work with your producer to tell that story
So would
because
you would you add anyone to the cast from here, or would you adjust things? Like, I would love to see Joy Owens. Shout out to Joy Owens. She's an attorney. I would love to see somebody like Joy, who is married. She's not an influencer, but she does share her life and her children and her husband and stuff. Her family is well known. Somebody like her, I think she could come in and save Belle Collective. I'm not ready to give up on Selena. I think Selena has more. She just needs some adjusting to her storyline.
as far as like who I would think would be a good fit for the show. So I did ask Letitia because I had a chance to interview her last year. I did ask her about Tasha. So Tasha came on as the one other alleged other woman to Greedy. And I felt like that was such a missed opportunity for using Tasha on this show. A lot of people don't know this, but Tasha is an actual mover and shaker. She was one of the biggest promoters here, bringing the major acts to Jackson at one time. Like, Jackson was really popping in the 2000s, 2010s, and Tasha
Right.
was bringing a lot of those people there. She was also, I think, a wedding planner, interior decorator or something, for NFL players, like the major NFL players. And now she works for Dion. So of course it wouldn't work because she's in Colorado with Deion Sanders, and she's been with him for years now. She started, I think, when he came to Jackson and he was a coach at Jackson State, but now she's there in Colorado. So of course Tasha wouldn't work, but Tasha would have been perfect. Tasha
Yeah.
would have been perfect. That's somebody's life that I would have loved to have followed. And I think she would have gave boss level energy. Like,
Yeah, I
she
think
would have
she would.
been, think she would have been like what y'all would like, what we're looking for in this show. We're looking for a star. We're looking for a Nene. So I think that she would have done that with no problem. But if we would have to deal with somebody here, and I'm looking in the radio broadcasting energy, I think if Tamra chose to stay, like, let's bring in Shell B as a friend of, because Shell is the epitome outside of what Tamra does as the midday diva and what she does. If we wanted somebody who kind of mirrored that and who was doing a lot of events around here, like Tamra may be doing events across the US, right? But doing events and hosting them and being in the mix right here, I gotta go with Shelby.
I love that. I love Shelby as a potential castmate. Let's close this thing on out. Thank y'all so much for watching. Let us know what you thought. Quita, rate this season 1 to 5 stars. What are you giving season 6 of Belle Collective?
I'm gonna give it a 3, only because I just feel like production played with them.
I was actually going to say a 3 or 3.5 too. I think this is a 3-star worthy season. We want more. I want more episodes. I want more stories telling in these episodes. I'm with you. I want a big trip. You
Do
can
it
go
big.
somewhere
Go-
within the US. Go to Miami.
Go to Miami, have a good time. I would love to, like, oh my gosh, the girls letting loose, having a good time in Miami, going to, I don't know, somewhere, but it cannot be Mississippi or Mississippi adjacent. Okay. Even the New Orleans trip was a bit, no, not if y'all not going to go and have New Orleans fun. If you're not going to go have New Orleans fun, then don't go. But no, y'all need to go have a good time. Y'all need some nice rooms. Man, I just came off a trip, baby. Okay, and y'all can do better. Just do better.
Y'all let us know what y'all think about this in the comments. We love the Bells. We support the Bells. We want to see the Bells done right, okay? So that is where we are coming from with our critique.
Increase your visibility with promoting this show. Increase it. Get with a great public relations and marketing agency and figure out how the next season, with production doing their job, that they can really push this out so more people can see it. Y'all need do y'all even have fan pages? Y'all need people making fan pages.
Oh, yeah.
For y'all.
I like the idea of that. Can you tell people how to find you?
Even think I know how to find me.
You have the TikTok popping.
Oquita, OHQUITA, Oquita on TikTok.
And y'all are tuning in on my channel. So if you're here and you enjoyed what you've seen, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future uploads. Maybe we can get some of these bills to talk to us. We'll see if we could do a little review, or maybe we do a panel for season 7. We gotta give it what it deserves, you know.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's set up a panel with the Belle season 7. Let's set something up.
Yeah, we gotta set something up. Thank y'all for watching. Let us know what you thought about everything we said in the comments. Let us know what you thought about this season of Belle Collective and the reunion. Who is your MVP for the season? Because we got Marie going over here. Let us know who yours is. and we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.